Get ready to quit the build.
Here we go.
The QTB crew is rounding up all the gaming news and hot topics of the week with a little extra something. And here are your hosts, Bruno and Nick.
All right, we're here. It is another.
Oh my gosh! What?
we did it. We did it. We're live. Can you believe it? We got Brad with us this time.
Brad's here. Hi, Brad.
Hey.
Come on, guys.
Am I pointing the right way? Is it worth pointing right here?
It's right here. Yeah. Can you see?
Okay.
Yes. It's the same place as on Discord. So I just kind of moved them apart and made them look all pretty.
Nice.
So. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well.
Very Brady Bunch.
Yes, the Brady Bunch.
It's a Brady column. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Brady. Where's Alice at? Where's she at?
That's right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream.
Yes, we're getting started for getting ready for the to record here. So we're just getting set up at the moment. I think, let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna need. Oh, I do need to actually record my audio. That's important.
Locally. Yeah, you're gonna want to do that.
You're gonna want to do that.
I'm gonna start that now, and I'll start up our Zencastr recording.
It'd be really entertaining to go through this whole episode and then realize you have no audio. And
Oh, please no.
That would be bad.
Please no.
That would be bad. So
I
that's
don't
like
wanna. I don't want
our nightmare.
Yeah.
It's really our nightmare is to get through an entire episode and be like, oh my gosh, where did it go?
I mean, it's happened. Like even like big podcasts have done that. It was like I was listening to Office Ladies where they did an interview with someone and they're like they came in and like yeah, we lost like the first 15 minutes
That
of
sucks. What's up, Mr. Davey boy? You hear y'all? That's good. That's good. I mean, I'm glad that we're at least getting across that way.
Hey, is the video stream okay? Can you see us? Is the real question.
I can. It looks like it's on there. I'm seeing. I'm not seeing enough movement. Isn't that what Ninja said at the like?
Oh, he tried to get everybody to floss, and nobody was having it.
To do it. That was the start. That was the downfall right there. If people had just if they had literally just flossed, maybe the pandemic wouldn't have happened. And
maybe
fine.
Mixer would still be here today if he had just done the darn floss.
Maybe
if they had, I don't know. My gosh.
Okay, let's get this going. Test recording. Can you guys still hear me?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Test. Let me just. And we are recording. Whoa. Why are we? Where are we? Okay, there we go. Sometimes you gotta wonder.
Right.
Okay. Your name. Let's get your name.
Your name? Whose name? Your name?
Your
My
name. Your name.
State your name, please.
Oh, we're gonna go with Nick Raff Kosnick because I think that's.
Oh, right.
Your
Nick,
Russian.
Nick Raff Kosnick. Ooh.
Nick Raff Kosnick.
Man.
Okay. And I don't like whatever song's playing in my ear right now. For the people. Whatever. Okay. And we're recording. You're recording on Zencastr?
Yes, Zen is good to go.
Okay. Let's see.
Speak some words, Brad.
Oh, hello.
There we go.
Loud and clear. Beer.
Beer.
And some cheer.
Yep, we got the beer. We got the beer.
We got
beer.
it.
Yep.
We
right
got
here?
it.
Oh,
Okay.
The beer is clear.
Let me put this down here.
I've been waiting all day for this, gents. It's the perfect time.
All right.
Nice.
Rock and roll.
Let's do it. All right. What it do? Welcome to the QTB podcast. We're so glad you could join us. My name is Bruno, and with me, as always, is my childhood friend and co-host, Nick. Nick Raff Kosnick. Nick, what's up?
Oh, that's nice. I like it. I like having a nickname that starts with Nick and also ends with Nick.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, if there's any way I could fit both your first name into your first name that's not your first name and into a last name that's also not a normal last name, I had to go with Russian KGB agent Nick Raff Kosnick because, why not? I mean, listen, I'm not going to tell anybody about your days in the KGB, so hopefully they're not listening and there's no, discrepancies there. But man, we've got an awesome episode today, right? We even have a special guest. Brad,
we do.
Our beer correspondent, is on the show with us today. What's going on, Brad?
Gentlemen, how's it going? I'm glad to be back. You guys have done so much since the last time I was on. I'm happy to be welcome back and be tackling some great topics today.
Yeah,
that's right, man.
It has been a minute. We've had like guest after guest, and then Nick, he's like, we got to get our beer correspondent back on here. What about Brad? And
I will say this, Bruno. As of today, our last episode with Brad's Beers is still our most downloaded episode.
How about that, listeners? So you're getting a treat when we got Brad on the stream, okay? He's got beer in hand right now. We're watching him through our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/quit the build. You guys can always find us on there. We record the episodes live on Twitch before we put them on the podcast for the peoples to hear. How about that?
It's incredible, but it's true.
It is. We do. And we've got some amazing things coming down the pipeline. I can't quite share them with you yet, but we have some awesome things in store. But what I can share with you is that we do have a merch giveaway every month for our listeners. All you have to do is write us a review on Apple Podcasts. And we're looking for genuine reviews here. So just listen to one of the episodes, give us a review, and you'll be entered every month to get an exclusive merch pack from the Pierce Unlimited Pop Art Vault. And Nick, it's the first of the month, right?
Yes.
So I think we need to actually announce the winner. Is that correct?
I'm glad you mentioned that. It is in fact time to announce a winner for our March prize pack, Bruno.
It is, and as a quick aside, we haven't prepared for this, so
I was gonna say
we didn't prepare for this at all. The beauty of Twitch, like you get to see it on Twitch.
Get it all.
We're just gonna be like, we're just gonna edit this part out, but we do
spin the wheel, baby.
Spin the wheel. So go ahead, and if you can, if you want to give us a quick, and then we'll read the review online and.
All right, so we have got, and I'm going to go off of if Apple Podcasts will let me do this. Can I get them all through here? Yes, I can. Yes. Thank goodness. Okay. All right, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've got 22, really actually 19. Okay, so let's go random number generator.
Boo boo.
All right, random number between 1 and 19. And the big number is 17. That's going to be 19, 18. That is going to be Island Viking 1 is our big winner.
Hey!
Congratulations to you. Yeah, absolutely. And he says with his review, awesome content, awesome hosts, awesome podcast. These guys are hilarious. Really refreshing to hear a gaming podcast that's not only relevant and up to date, but with hosts that are clearly ultra passionate about gaming and everything to do with it. He gave us a 12 out of 10 on a 5-star chart. 12 out of 10. I didn't even know that was possible.
That was,
but hey,
this is Ken Griffey Jr. style right here. And speaking of baseball, we have baseball coming up in the news later on. I can't wait to tackle it. As well as what else, Nick? What else is on the docket for us for today's show? Not only with the baseball, but I think we got some other things.
Yeah, so we're a little bit later we'll be talking about MLB The Show and how that's going to be coming over to the Xbox Game Pass, which is a very interesting addition, and we'll get into why later. And also talking about the fact that the Xbox fridge is actually going to be made for the public after a very interesting showdown on Twitter. Don't miss that one. And of course, if we're going to have Brad on, we have to have a Brad's Beers segment. He's brought one of his beers from our blog article that he put up there at quitthebuild.com/blog. So we'll be talking about that beer as well. But of course, the big news that we have to get into today, Bruno, and this is all about Super Mario Brothers. So you might recall a while back in the podcast, we talked about the Nintendo PlayStation. Ironically, I think we had Brad on when we were talking about the Nintendo PlayStation, and how at the time, there's only a couple made, right? And at the time, it was sold for like $300,000, or somewhere around what the person paid for it on eBay.
Yeah.
And we were making fun of them for spending $300,000 on the first bid. Well, lo and behold, fast forward to today, buy it now. Yeah, I'll make them an offer they can't refuse. But there's a copy of Super Mario Brothers that is actually sold for $600,000. More than that, 660 is the exact number. And this article is from newswatchtv.com. So there was a sealed copy that was graded very high, and of course that grading scale they use to determine the quality of something that's a collector's item. And on April 2nd. Yeah, as of recording this, that it sold for a record-shattering $660,000, which is more than double of what the previous most expensive gaming. So this is the most expensive gaming sale ever in terms of just a collectible item.
Jeez.
More than doubling what came before with the Nintendo PlayStation. It's just absolutely absurd. Like, so the most expensive game ever sold, since we were talking about hardware with the Nintendo PlayStation. But in terms of actual games, the most expensive before this was a sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers for $114,000 from the same auction house. And then Super Mario Brothers 3 later got sold for about $156,000. And now people be buying games for we're getting close to $1 million for a single game. Can you believe it?
Well, the money thing is just blowing me away, because we've got Charizard cards going for $160,000. I don't know what they were, but it was astronomical prices for one single card. So the fact that we've got an actual game that's selling for that much blows my mind too. I can't imagine how I could get the wife on board with this one. Brad, what's the most you've ever spent on a single game? Not like Fortnite, but like, what's the most you've ever spent in terms of like just one game?
Well, I mean, without thinking about like deluxe editions or platinum editions, right, that come with all that extra content. I mean, I'm a pretty generic dude. I buy the $59.99 copy, right? I mean, so to even conceptualize spending over $500,000 on a game that I won't open. I won't even open it. It's going to stay sealed.
Yeah, you're not good. Yeah, that would be terrible. So
it's going to sit there, and I'm going to look at it.
That'd be the most basic thing to do. You just buy the game, and you're like, the minute you get it, you just rip open the plastic and you try and put it into an NES. You're like, it doesn't work.
Let me blow on it real quick. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is wild. So the reason why this particular copy sold for so much is that it's essentially the oldest known version of it that's been made, especially at such a high quality. Okay, the reason being, they're talking about how the game was released in the later part of 1986, and there was a very limited run that Nintendo had that had certain things about it that were different. And I know, like, when you're a collector, this is the kind of thing that you're looking for.
Yeah, totally.
Like the Nintendo logo doesn't have a little restricted trademark thing there in the corner.
Ooh.
And that's one of the telltale signs that you have a version from this. This is kind of like, Pawn Stars thing of, I got to call in my guy. And he's like,
it's the shadowless card, it's the shadowless.
The gray stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gray stamp first edition, not the black, the gray stamp first edition. Yeah.
Right.
So just because of that lack of a symbol there, but also all these other little subtle things about it, they were able to date it so far back that it's, they said that this was the fourth version that was ever produced, and the window of production for this particular run was so short and so limited that it's basically a timeless artifact.
Wow.
And of course, not only do you, but that's the thing about collecting these kind of things, right? Is not only do you have to keep it and have that one specific version of it, but you have to keep it in mint condition. Because like how many of us kept our copies of Super Mario Brothers? Obviously, we're gonna open it, we're gonna play it.
Got him.
Right. And I'm always amazed when someone ends up having something like this, because all I can think is like, how did you know? Like, what did you do? Like, what were the series of events that led you to today where you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And like, I have something really special, that's different from other, because anybody can just buy something and hold on to it and hope that, having it in mint condition in 20, 30 years is going to be worth something. But you look at things like baseball cards, like we talked about on a recent episode, or like, Beanie Babies and that kind of thing. And it's like, that didn't mean anything.
Speaking of Beanie Babies, have you seen that picture of the actual, like, there's an actual couple like that got divorced and they are sorting out and splitting Beanie Babies right in front of the judge on the courtroom floor? Have you seen that? This is a recent thing? This is no. It's not a recent thing. It's from the like 90s, like straight from the 90s.
Thank goodness.
There was like a guy and a woman that got divorced, and they literally had a collection of Beanie Babies and they split them up right there on the courtroom floor in front of the judge. And I just can't imagine sitting there with my wife and being like, "You're not getting the Princess Diana bear. I don't even think about it. You're not getting
That's the valuable one." Yeah.
Did you have Beanie Babies, Brad?
My sister did, and I know that situation is very clear. But getting back to what Nick said, the one thing I remember, if I recall, about that game is that was a black box too, right? So not only keeping that pristine, but black in itself, a nick, a scratch, sun damage, fading. So to be able to warrant that type of a sale and keep it that in pristine condition versus like a white box or something.
That's true.
It just, again, it gets back to Nick's point about what were they doing? Did they just like buy it and put it away? Like it got buried, it got left behind? Because I know for me, anything black, it shows dirt, dust, any nicks, any scratches. So the fact that this thing it got such a rating to be that pristine is quite remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't imagine holding on to something I can't imagine holding on to something for that long, but I can't imagine, with the amount of moves that I've had in my life like you said, to keep it, in grade A condition. Maybe he kept this under like vault lock and key, just like he had a fire safe and he's like, don't touch that. You know what that is? That's the fire flood safe that contains the original Super Mario Brothers. I know it's gonna be worth something one day. So
that's my ticket out of here in 30 years.
That's my ticket. That's my investment right there.
Yeah.
I mean, so there was a huge, like, we have to go back for a little bit, that Nintendo was huge. It was huge. Right. So this was really, really, it was in the media. It was everywhere. It was the latest craze. So I think there were tons of people that foresaw that type of investment in the past and then preserved it for the future. They're doing it with like Pokemon cards, like, right? Like there's like Pokemon cards that people are still opening, like the original starter packs from the 90s. So obviously, and my dad did the same thing. My dad would buy collectibles and keep them in the box, and he was the type of dad that if he thought there was value in something that he was getting me, like Ninja Turtles or something, and it's so funny that he didn't actually do it because he's like, I don't see any value in these. But he would buy two versions, like one for me to play with and then one to keep in the box.
That's
and
smart.
Then have it's very smart like that. So but then again, you're talking about, okay, well, now I gotta buy two of everything because I still want to play Mario. So
on 2 points, I'm with you, Bruno. I actually have, my uncle did it for me. So the first 7 years of my life, I still have today, I've been packed away, sealed, unopened Topps, the full collection of Major League Baseball Topps baseball cards.
Oh, wow.
The entire set for that year's release. So I have 88 to like 95, and I haven't touched them.
Wow.
But two questions come to mind. One, when you do that, you're banking on that particular thing is going to hold value.
Yeah.
How do we know today that whatever we decide that is going to be is going to hold value, right? Same thing with Beanie Babies or any example, right? At the time they were popular, but how do you know? Can you project that that's going to hold value? But then two, it's also now thinking ahead in the future, maybe why some of these are maintaining and gaining value is everything's going digital. So are we going to have cartridges going forward? Are we going to have game boxes? Are we going to have things that exist beyond the digital world and actually you can hold and touch and be like, yeah, this was a game that I played. So
and I think that's a good point. Like I think that's the point. Like when we talk about, you know, something that's printed, it's something that is not, it doesn't have the same value as a physical object like a game cartridge. And I think that's where we make the distinction, right? Like that's why I'm not sure we'll ever see a normal like Pokemon card go for $600,000, like
right.
and at least not right now. I think because you can get it from someplace else, and you have to realize the amount of times that they printed something versus an actual cartridge like Nick said, that it was a limited run edition of a game that there were maybe only 50 to 100 made or something like that at first, before they were like, oh, let's switch it back and do this. So when you're talking about something physical, as long as it hasn't been printed in a certain way, I think it has a lot more value, you know, in the long run. And I think that's the problem with baseball cards and football cards. There were so many of those cards that were printed that it was hard for people to trade them and find the exact card that they were looking for. I know my dad tried to find them and collect the whole series and whatnot, and he had a hard time doing it, go from pawn shop to pawn shop. But now you hop on eBay and you're just like Jerry Rice rookie card,
whatever you want.
And you can get one. So I remember he paid like $180 for a Jerry Rice rookie card. After my dad passed away, long after he passed away, before I moved out to California, I was like, I'm gonna see if I can sell some of these cards, you know, see what I can get out of them. That's why he bought them, so that I could, you know, as an investment. I go to the pawn shop to sell a Jerry Rice rookie card, thinking maybe I'll get like $50 for it or something like that. There are 3 in the case for $20 a piece. I was like, what?
Womp,
My
womp.
dad looked forever to find this, and now there's 3 of them right there. Like, couldn't believe it. So
that's devastating.
It really was. It was like one of those things where I was glad he wasn't alive to know that like the investment that he had for these cards ended up being nothing because of something like eBay, because eBay came along and was like, nope. So
here's the actual value of that card based on, you know, capitalism. But I mean, the crazy thing is, and you were talking about how like Brad, with, you know, people owning, you know, unopened packs of cards and you're banking on the value. You're right. And what's crazy is that a lot of it's almost like gambling now, where some people will buy like these old, like the first edition Pokemon expansion or Pokemon trading card packs, or like Magic the Gathering packs.
Oh yeah.
And they'll buy like a box of these for like, you know, a 4-figure sum. And it's essentially gambling, because, you know, the estimated value of you getting one of the rare cards is built into that cost of, well, it's $1,000 for the box, but you could have a card inside that's worth $10,000.
Yeah.
You know, you could pop a Black Lotus in Magic the Gathering. And so like they'll do that, and then they have these big streams or these live events where like, we're gonna unbox these cards, and like whenever someone actually gets the valuable one, like they're shaking. Like it's just like it's crazy, because they actually got, you know, the thing that they were looking for. I mean,
where's that card sleeve?
Yeah,
where's
exactly.
that card sleeve? I gotta get in the card sleeve.
Yeah, but it's a crazy world. But yeah, it is cool to see, you know, a piece of history, and especially one that on the other side of it is one of the most common things that is collected, like carts of Super Mario Brothers, or like Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. They're very common. Like they ship with the NES. There's nothing unusual about them. It's a staple of gaming history that was mass produced. So and it's not that long ago. Like the 80s weren't that far in terms of a long-term collector's item. So
they're getting further, Nick. They're getting further.
I know. I'm trying to make myself not feel old. Okay. My goodness. But hey, so much more gaming news to get to, so we will get to it right after this. Brad, I think your system sounds are coming through. Are there like messages being sent or something?
Oh, I can't hear them.
No, maybe it's me then.
Oh, like pop-up messages or something.
Yeah, maybe like through like
Hey, Terry.
Hey, it's Terry.
I don't know. I don't know how to.
It's all good.
Or... Okay.
Okay. If it, I was just trying to figure it out because it sounded like it was.
It might have been me.
Weird.
I'm sorry. I
That
guess
might
I
have
can
been me,
mute myself until. Okay.
Let me go to. No, I'm not gonna X out of here. It's fine. It might just be me.
Okay.
What's going on, Vix?
Hey, what's up, Vix?
Hey-o.
How's it going?
Hey, Bruno,
QTB.
too, about the baseball card thing. It's the more they print, it's like in money, right? Inflation. Once you print too much, none of it's worth anything, right? The rarity goes away.
But like I don't know if that's the same equivalency because we haven't had our money hasn't been backed by gold since the Great Depression. So our money really is not worth anything. It's only worth what we give it value. The only reason we have our dollar is worth what it is because we say it's worth what it is, and we have the financial brevity in terms of like the global economy to say this is what our dollar is worth. But it all comes down to faith too. Like that's another thing. You know, this is an aside for the our people who usually talk about economics, but from a communication standpoint, economics is all based on faith. Our faith in the system. So it has nothing to do with Wall Street or nothing to do with the current. Well, it kind of has something to do with the current president, but that the president, in terms of whoever it is, the people have a faith in the president, and then they may spend more or less regardless of who's in office, and that in turn affects the economy. So it's interesting that we don't have a system that is backed by gold, and we're basically saying nope, it's worth this because we printed it on cotton. So
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they got the stonks guy in Fortnite. That's the real store of value.
Oh my gosh! First of all, that was an instant buy for me. It was an instant buy for me. The stonks guy, and the fact that he's got a soulless smile of a face is so telling, and it's just
Diamond Hans. I love it.
I don't know. I like the arrow up back bling. I mean, that's so fitting, right?
Apparently it's reactive. So whenever you get a kill, it sounds like there's like a little coin drop or something. Like it's like every time you get a kill. So something they didn't really say in the release of it, but it's there.
Right.
Anyway, let's get back to the podcast. I'll bring us back in. And we're back. It is 4:15 p.m. and I hope you're having a great afternoon out there. We're going to get into the afternoons sometimes because I feel like maybe you're listening to this on your way home, or maybe
you have done a lot of mornings lately.
I have, and so, but we did hit one in the morning, so I have to
get one.
I have to say that maybe people are listening to podcasts more so in the morning. I don't know. If you want to let us know when you're listening to the podcast, you can always leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We do a giveaway, and I just wanted to circle back to our giveaway. We have announced March's winner, which was Island Viking 1. So thank you, Island Viking, for leaving an awesome review. I believe that's Russell. So woohoo to Russell for that.
Big winner.
And so you can be a winner too. Every month we're doing a giveaway. All you have to do is leave us a review, and boom, you're entered. So with that said, moving on. You can be a winner if you get what, Nick?
Game Pass. I tell you, we keep saying
second thing too.
It's it is. It's always the second segment is Game Pass, isn't it? It's just crazy. We keep saying it. Surely we're not going to come back to this or talk about it. And like we said, we when we kind of put a disclaimer on this in the past, we talk about the news and. Xbox Game Pass continues to make the news for different reasons, and just when you think you've heard it all, they keep it going. Recently they announced they're a lot of doing a lot of backwards compatible titles, Xbox and Xbox 360 titles that they're putting onto Game Pass. That kind of made the news, but this one absolutely blew up the headlines, and there's a good reason behind it, right? So, MLB The Show, a
Big Ten
franchise that formerly was a Sony thing, It's literally developed and produced by a Sony studio. It's their studio that makes it. Is not only coming to Xbox, but it's coming to Game Pass and will be available on day one when it launches on April 20th. Now, Sony had put out a press release, I want to say a couple weeks ago, where they were like, hey, we're going to start putting out our games on other platforms. Like, we knew that was going to happen, but we didn't exactly know what they meant by that. They didn't really share any specifics. But now we can see that apparently it means that not all games, but whatever makes sense, especially if it's something that's available through EA Play, right, which is a part of Game Pass Ultimate, is going to be something that we see on Game Pass. So sure enough, MLB The Show is making an appearance, and the first AAA MLB game since about 2013, I think, was the last time that we had a game like that appear on Xbox. It was really a PlayStation thing.
Well, yeah, because I believe that, like, essentially because we haven't had like an MLB 2K, right? There hasn't been like an MLB 2K since 2013, because I'm pretty sure the show got exclusive rights to baseball, sort of like Madden has exclusive rights to football. And that's really interesting because, first of all, everyone knows that that's what the major leagues are called. For those of you who don't know, it's called The Show. Welcome to the Big Show. That's that's the, I don't know why it was coined that, but that's what it is. And aside, it's about time that we get a baseball game, because there's way too much baseball to begin with. Baseball started now. Like, baseball goes from late March into like October. It's like 9 months. It really is.
So many games.
So many games of baseball. Yeah. And yet they like had an exclusive to an entire console. That's a big blow. That's a big blow. Yeah. Now, Brad, you're a baseball fan, and you mentioned earlier that this might be the tipping point for you to actually join and sign up for Xbox Game Pass. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm very excited. I was just waiting for you to kick it to me, because I've been waiting for this. And we've talked, I think the last time I was on, we debated the Game Pass, and I said I was an Xbox Live Gold only person. It worked for me. But the fact that MLB The Show is now coming to Xbox on the Game Pass, basically free of charge, is included. I am a baseball, of all the sports games, I love the baseball games the most. You go back to original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, King Griffey Jr., N64, King Griffey Jr., N64. And I had MLB The Show, or MLB K213, I think was a lot, like you said. I had games up to the point that whatever Xbox or the other developers are putting out that would be on Xbox was out. It just didn't cut it, right? It didn't meet the expectations of the show. I've been waiting now almost a decade to get that back, right? Wow. And I love the career mode. Wow. I love the manager mode, where you manage a team through the season, you draft players, you trade players, because it is such a long season. It's 162 games, right? It's not really is. It's not football, right? It's not 17, it's 162, right? So there's so many averages and matchups, in the way you strategize with your bullpen. Like, so for me, I mean, I told you guys earlier, this might be the tipping point for me to go from Xbox Live Gold to getting the Game Pass.
That's all it took.
That's all
these games, Bethesda getting in there, just like banger after AAA banger, and it was baseball that finally said, "Oh, here comes Brad."
Well, see, I think that's really interesting, though, because I think everyone has that game. Like, I think everyone has a game that they're like, if and I do too. I've told Brad, like, I don't feel the need to buy the PlayStation 5 this go around. I got the PS3. This will be the first PlayStation I haven't bought. Like, it truly will be the first PlayStation I haven't bought. And I think that says a lot, because we're moving into an era where, first of all, games are, being shared around the world, around each platform. So there's only a few things that, like, you can't get your hands on. And I just, we're, like I said, we're getting into this point where there's such a great value from Xbox. And if it were Grand Theft Auto, that's my game. Like if that became a PlayStation exclusive, I would jump on board and I'd be like, I got to get a PS5. I got to just for this game. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to continue to move into exclusivity for Xbox in terms of Game Pass material, because that's the real seller here. And I think PlayStation is going to continue with new IPs, which has been their bread and butter from the get-go.
Right. You know, it's the important thing that's coming out of this is it's forcing Sony to respond. And I want to preface this because I know we keep talking about it, but I want to make clear, you know, the purpose of our podcast or just gaming news in general isn't to bash one side or the other. And I know that to this day, for whatever reason, there's this endless console war of people picking a side. And it's like politics, like, you know, hooray for our tribe and boo for the other tribe. And when something happens that's bad for us, like, or it's bad, it's, you know, we have to spin it and all that kind of thing, and like play defense, you know. Yeah. Like I'm a proponent of Google Stadia, but I know its flaws. I know what's wrong with it. I would never fanboy for that service. Yeah. I just appreciate what it can do for me. And so, you know, what I don't want to see is this kind of thing happens, and this is a major blow in terms of, you know, people from Sony. If you have a PS5 and you have no plans to get an Xbox, and you were going to get MLB the game, you have two options. Well, actually, no, you have one option. Is you're going to buy it for $70, right? Because Sony's been talking about increasing the cost of their games. Yeah. You're looking at a $70 purchase versus the guy on Game Pass that this was already budgeted out. It's just a free bonus for them, you know. Or if they are hopping on, it's $1. Like, come on, well, you know, and that's
the fact that it's got EA Play too, like, you know, if you're a sports guy, like if you're Mr. Sports and that's Brad, you've got access to all the Madden games. You've got MLB The Show now. You have NBA 2K or not NBA 2K, but
you're right. I think it's NBA 2K.
Is it
I believe
Game
that's
Pass
what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. But you've got the EA has NHL, and then there's FIFA and F1. So I mean, the list just goes on in terms of what EA actually has in store. And now that they've acquired Codemasters, they really will have F1 in their back pocket. So Brad, you've got to be excited about this. Is this enough? Is this enough for you to jump on Game Pass, or to be like, you know, to at least talk to your wife and be like, hey, honey, look at the value of this? Because, you know, we've got Xbox Live Gold that is no longer Xbox Live Gold, like it's Xbox Network. So it's moving away from this gold. So down the road, there might not be a need for Xbox Live Gold. It might be the Xbox Network / Game Pass. I don't know if they'd ever get rid of it, but, you know, is there enough value in something like that where you could say, okay, well, I don't have enough time to devote to necessarily one game, but if I, you know, sample a variety of games, then I've got my money's worth.
Oh, well, first of all, I think she's tuning in and listening live. So yes, I will go on record and say yes. And for two reasons. One, as an aside, I think we saw the latest Xbox Live free game drop this month. And I know you both, for a while now, those releases have been, I would say, less than exciting, right? So the concept and the method and the input of gold has kind of lost its esteem anyway. And you can see Microsoft really putting their focus on the Game Pass. And the fact now that you can say you get that breadth of variety, I mean, like you said, just EA Play now with MLB The Show, I mean, as a sports fan, if I can go from Madden to FIFA to F1 now to MLB The Show, I mean, I can really, and that's just in the sports genre, right? I mean, we haven't even, we've covered all the other games and with the new developers and
Need for Speed's on there. I mean, there's quite a few Need for Speed games on there. There's also the Dirt series. I don't know if you've ever played that, but that's, you know, like rally racing. Yeah.
It's the new gold. It's the new gold standard. What else is out there that can really compete or even say that it's got an iota of what to offer that the Game Pass does? And that's really, I think, the model, right? If Xbox can continue, Microsoft can continue to take these exclusives and bring them onto the Game Pass, you're eating away at PlayStation's model, right? Its model of exclusivity and these exclusive titles that draw you to that platform. And all of a sudden now it's like Netflix. Netflix set the bar, right?
Yeah.
And now everyone else is trying to compete. You've got Paramount, you've got Discovery Plus, you've got Hulu. So
yeah, because it's not just
Microsoft
enough to have. It's not just enough to have like we're gonna have a catalog of previously viewed stuff here. We've got to create our own content. And you're right, like Netflix has done that. We're starting to see that with Hulu. We're starting to see that with all these big networks. Paramount Plus is gonna revive Rugrats. Like,
That's
I'm
right.
super excited about that. So
Yeah, voice actors and all.
As a millennial, that is like right up my alley, and definitely one of the reasons I'm joining into Paramount Plus. So, if you can have that added value, it's almost a question of like when you will buy it, not if you will buy it, because it's such a great value.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah,
I'm now.
All it took was baseball.
It's happening. Yeah. Finally, after all this time, but yeah, it's very cool. And like I was saying with the Sony thing, what I don't want to see is for Xbox to continue to just dominate. Like I want to see Sony step up. And we talked about this before, and they have made great moves. I think that their Play at Home initiative and all the games they released on that was a great response. On the last episode, we talked about how they're offering a $1 a month of PS Now, to kind of. But everything that they have to do is just to try and play catch up to the hype that's surrounding the Xbox and the conversation that's happening. You don't really see Sony trending on Twitter right now, but it seems like Xbox and Microsoft and, a game that's coming to Xbox Game Pass, that's all that's popping up on Twitter anymore. And, that when that's happening, you have to be looking at that from a corporate perspective and being like, what are we going to do here? Like, what's our game plan? Because it seems more and more like the conversation this generation is going to be about Xbox and what Xbox is doing and what everyone else is doing to try and keep up with Xbox. And it just seems like with every news story that my take on that kind of solidifies. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah.
And I've said this before, this PS, or the PlayStation, like, fans have a lot to look forward to with PlayStation, but it's not a now thing, whereas the Xbox Game Pass is a now thing. Things are there now. There's a reason to have it. There's a reason to get it. You could get more right now from an Xbox Series X or S than you could from a PlayStation 5. And this is computing, processing power aside,
right?
Just the fact that, like, if you have access to Game Pass or you get on Game Pass, you're going to have more value out of your Xbox than you would if you had PlayStation, because they're kind of dragging their feet on that. And you're right. I want a reason to come back. I want a reason to come back to the old PlayStation. And honestly, it's a lot of the old stuff. It's not the new stuff. Like, I miss the games that I played on PlayStation 2. Those are some of my favorite games that I grew up with. And so to not have access to those is kind of a bummer. And I'd like to see that change in PlayStation's favor. But moving on.
Oh, my gosh. And so another story popping up. This one is, every now and then something fun comes across when I'm prepping for the show. And this one is fantastic. So, of course, one of the biggest tweets that happened with Xbox in the last year or so was about the Xbox Series X fridge. Remember, they put out this teaser. We were all like, what's this going to be? And it wound up being this fridge. And the thing got a crazy amount of engagement. There was almost 200,000 likes on this thing, tons of comments, everybody talking about it. It was a genius, kind of advertisement in and of itself. Yeah. And it was very cool to see. But when they actually released it, they did make them. Okay, the Xbox fridges were made, but they were only offered to
Snoop Dogg got one.
Right. So they had a contest
for someone. I think. Listen, I gotta say, there's nothing that makes me saltier than seeing her get gaming stuff. It really, this is a topic for another episode. But I get salty when she gets stuff because I'm like, she's not even a real gamer.
Right. I mean, I think anybody can appreciate a fridge that looks like an Xbox, right? But you're right, though. Yeah, it's not right. It's not fair. But yeah, they did a contest to let people win one, but they also sent them, as a kind of a social media stunt, and it worked. As a result of that, it became one of the most liked tweets of 2020. And so Twitter has this competition where the best of tweet brand, where they will kind of recap the craziest, brand tweets, because these days when you're a big company, you got to have Twitter game,
Yeah.
You got to be maybe not quite like Wendy's, where you're just on there like bashing people that are bashing Wendy's.
Savage, bro.
They are savage.
They don't care, and they got the breakfast to back it up. Okay, so that's how you know Wendy's is on their game. They are straight from the morning. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's something about them potato wedge fries that you can only get for their breakfast, but Wendy's knows what's up. Like, they hop out of bed salty. Okay, they
literally,
do.
yeah,
They
great,
literally hop out of bed salty.
Already salted, yeah. But
they're the official sponsor of the NCAA March Madness. Just Wendy's breakfast.
Wow.
Like,
Just
it
Wendy's.
makes no
Breakfast.
sense to me. Yeah, it's just like not Wendy's as a whole, mind you. Okay, just Wendy's breakfast.
Well, it's been a big thing right now of trying to keep up with McDonald's in terms of their breakfast game, of trying to get the little piece of that pie, right? Like Taco Bell tried to bring back breakfast there for a little while, and oh my gosh. But yeah, talking about Xbox, though, who does not offer breakfast, unfortunately. One of the few things you get Game Pass is
But you can
a delicious,
put your breakfast in the Xbox fridge.
You could put it in the fridge, Well played. So they had the best of tweet brand bracket championship on Twitter, where they took all of these like top tweets from companies and let people vote on which one they liked more. And it got down to the finals, and it was the Xbox fridge tweet versus a tweet from Skittles. Okay, now listen, people love Skittles. People go nuts for Skittles. Skittles has a strong Twitter game. They've done some crazy stuff on there. And so it was going to be down to the wire, and boy, was it, because at the very end of this thing, Xbox only got like a fraction of a percentage to win this thing out after over 300,000 people voted. So like 50.5% to like 49.5. It was absurd.
Wow.
And at the very end, okay, both companies got very, very personal. Not personal, but they put some skin in the game, okay? So they saw how close it was, and Xbox came out and said, okay, guys, if we win, we are going to make the Xbox Series X mini fridge available to the public. Very cool. I like it. And the Xbox people said, fantastic, retweet, let's get this thing out there, let's get this done.
Good
and
marketing.
Then Skittle shows up and says, hold on.
We're going to make a Skittle the size of a fridge.
No.
Dang, that would have been all over that boy.
Skittles tried their best, but I'm actually going to say this. Skittles, you goofed with this one. They said, okay, if we win, we're going to bring back the lime Skittles. Really? What? The lime Skittles?
Okay, so I have a theory, and it's not my theory, but it's a one of my friends. He has this theory, right? And it's that Skittles all taste the same. That there's no there's no change between one or the other. And so I think he's half right. I think there are like maybe 3 flavors of Skittles that the candy coating is what you're mainly tasting in that, but the actual center part of the Skittle, there might be like a citrus flavor. You're saying too, Brad?
The grape is different. And then the yellow one, whatever the yellow is it lemon? I mean, but all the other ones
taste the same. Yep.
Orange, red, green, they're all the same.
I think the green tastes like the lemon one. Yeah. You can taste part of the rainbow.
Right. 2/5.
Are we all taste colorblind, or are we?
Maybe, I don't know.
I need to do like a colorblind taste test now. I got to put this theory to work. Like, does it? Oh, there might be some.
Yeah, no, I've done that before. That's how we've done it. We've done we did this at the church youth, right? You're just like, close your eyes. I'm gonna put a Skittle in your mouth. You taste it and tell me what flavor it is. And no one got them right. So
I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's just because we're that like dulled to our senses to be like, or if just the fact that we look at Skittles and we're like, this is red, so it's cherry. Like, okay,
well, they play to all our senses, right? Your visibility, your nose, your mouth, but we see so much with our eyes that it overcomes some of our other sense, right? So we want to believe that red is cherry or red is strawberry, orange is orange, which what else is orange? But like, you know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
convince ourselves when we see something that that's what it's supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this one. I'm
Yeah.
going to get back to you. Yeah.
I feel it's almost like, you know, how when we found out, like, I don't know if you know this, but like Kit Kats, the center of Kit Kats is just mashed up Kit Kat. Like the wafer stuff inside is just, they just basically took regular Kit Kats, mashed them up, put them in between layers of chocolate, and that's what a Kit Kat is. It's made of itself, exactly. So what if Skittles is the same way? Or like, do you remember when Tootsie Roll came out with the like secret flavor, and they were like, if you guess the flavor of the secret flavor, you win all this money, right? They were like, they're like, we'll give you the company. We'll give you the company. They were
You get the whole
company, the keys to the company, because they were that sure that no one would figure it out. And all these years later, we now realize that the reason is because it was leftover flavors of all the other flavors combined. So it was like, you know, the leftovers in the barrel of orange and cherry, they just took all that, combined it together, and it was the leftover like multi-fruit flavor. So no one could sit there and be like, oh, it's you know, it's white cherry. Like, no, it's all the flavors combined.
It's just smorgasbord of fruit.
I have
it's just charcuterie of fruit.
Yeah, I have always had the stance that whenever a company comes out with like a mystery flavor of something, if it's like Skittles or Airheads or Oreos or whatever, it's a last second ditch play because they had some flavor that did not work. People did not like it. And like it focus tested well, but it did not turn out right. And they're like, what do we do? Color it white and call it a mystery flavor. Done.
Oh, but
I think it was it wasn't Swedish Fish, but I know Oreos did one that I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yeah, the long and short of it is that Skittles was a strong contender with this competition, and so yeah, they're like, we'll bring back the lime flavor, which was not enough. It was not enough. And so ultimately,
see, now we've
Xbox
got like
won.
Conspiracy theories wondering, like, is there even a lime flavor Skittles? Let's get to the bottom of this.
We opened up a can of worms that I was not even prepared for. But now I'm gonna follow up with you on this. I'm gonna get me a bag of Skittles and
Skittles Gate.
We're gonna be getting a call from Big Skittles here soon. Men in rainbow suits.
Big Candy's gonna give us a ring.
Big Candy.
It's a new take on the Candy Man giving you a call. You know what I mean?
Right?
Geez.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But yeah, so as a result of Xbox winning this competition, we assume they're going to make good on their promise. And they said, yeah, we're going to make it available to the public. And they're going to send the first Xbox Series X fridge to Skittles themselves as a show of good sportsmanship.
That's savage.
That's right.
Here you go.
Now, I have to give some credit here to Terry. I was talking to him earlier about this article, and he made a good observation of, if let's say that you bought chicken, okay? You bought some raw chicken from the store. You could take it home, store it in your Xbox fridge, and then when you want to make it, you can take it over to your KF console, cook it up real nice. It would be the world's first cross-platform chicken.
Wow. Or
yeah,
you could use the Bud Light console, because there's also a Bud Light console.
And get some beer with it as well. Get some chilled beer.
Yep, you could transfer that beer from Xbox Series fridge to Bud Light console, and
you know, the year 2020, we were talking about, you know, just like cross-platform and backwards compatibility. These days, we're talking about how can we get our chicken to be cross-platform. I mean, welcome to the future, everybody. 2021. Here we are.
It sounds like something you'd see in Sky Mall. You know, you're just sitting there waiting for your flight into Denver, and you're just like, they've got a Bud Light that can also play video games. This is a Bud Light fridge video game console. How about that?
How about that?
That's all Sky Mall is. It's
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
two random things that don't go together that are now together. So, fried chicken console, here we come.
Sounds like a poll. How many people have actually ordered something from Sky Mall? I really want to know. I really do.
They wouldn't offer it if someone didn't buy it, right?
They have so many cool things in there. I like when you get to the back and you see all the like licensed stuff of like the actual Harry Potter wands, or like they'll have like the Batman Batarang or something like that. And I'm like, that's what I want right there, Sky
I need
Mall.
a Batarang. Can I have that now? before I land.
You see, this needs to be the future of, because I wish I could just like call up one of the flight attendants right there and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the Harry Potter wand from page 57 and I'll take the batarang from page 109. Do you have that in the back? Like, yes, we do.
In the back of the airplane. I love it. Down in the cargo bay. Yeah. Amazing. But yeah, it's very cool to see this. And, we were talking before about Xbox really kind of dominating Twitter lately and Microsoft. And there you go. Like, they're literally being voted as like the greatest, brand tweet of 2020. Wow. And as a result of it, we're getting this fridge, which is just pure ridiculousness. It's probably going to be available in some limited quantity and for some, high-end price. You'll be lucky if you'll be able to purchase it day one. You're not going to walk into your local, Lowe's and they're going to have an Xbox One X fridge, sitting right there. But
you can actually win one on Microsoft Rewards.
Seriously?
Yeah,
they have
if you have your points, you can actually redeem your points for a chance to win that, along with like, I don't know. Yeah. I think it's like The Rock's energy drink or something. I don't know. Maybe he has energy drink or something.
Of course he does.
I know he's got tequila, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's got.
It's coming out soon. It's a brand new project of his. I don't think it's released yet, but it's coming out soon.
There you go. So it might be a part of that. Yeah, I think that's what
Zoa.
it is. Yeah.
So there XOA you go. Or something like that. So
Oh, of course, with the X. Yeah.
Of course with the X.
And we all know, low key, The Rock is totally in Fortnite as well. So he's totally getting into the gaming arena right now.
Yes, there's rumors that he is the foundation. Which is totally, I mean, that sounds like The Rock, and he like did an Instagram.
Clever.
He did an Instagram post on the release night of Fortnite, and the very last thing he said was the foundation. And like, come on, like he didn't call out Fortnite by name, but if you go back and listen to the trailer, you're like, that is Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
That's
the guy.
The people's elbow, the people's brow, the people's people.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I guess look for this thing to go on sale at some point in the near future. But congratulations to Xbox again for sticking it to Skittles. Take that, big candy. Yeah.
Now, Brad, moving over to your segment, a segment we like to call "What's Brad Drinking?"
Oh, well, thank you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk about this. If you guys haven't already seen, if you head over to quitthebuild.com and go to our blog section, I just posted another blog article on 7 more video game inspired beers. And I wouldn't be doing justice to the blog or to the podcast if I didn't come here today and be drinking one of the ones that I posted on that article.
What are you drinking?
So
Show us what you got.
For those who are following us and watching us live on Twitch, your boy's got Juice Nukem live and in person now.
What a name!
Look at this can, man. I mean,
what do you do with those cans? How do you not? You can't throw them away, right? Do you just have like a whole room of cans that you're just like, look at all these cool cans?
Well, when you have multiple cans and you're having a good time, I mean, you can pick and choose, right? You save one, you throw one away.
Yeah.
Like
we were talking about before, you open one for you and then you save one for as a collector's item. He's going to resell these beers 20 years down the road. Little did I know that.
But again, it's just a recognition of the we talked earlier about, KFC to Bud Light, the whole that whole cross marketing branding. This is a perfect example of that, of gaming meets beer, 2 different cultures, 2 different standalone, cultures that have such a following, such a passion. But then when you bring them together and you can find such a unique way to bring them together, for me, being a fan of both atmospheres, this is the culmination of what makes this the total experience. From finding the can in the store, buying it, appreciating the can artwork, tasting the good quality beer. It's fantastic, and if you really want to know more about the flavor, the feel, the along with what else we posted on the blog, please go check it out. This is, I mean, it's hoppy, it's juicy, it's really, as Duke Nukem is, he delivers a punch. This delivers a punch on the. So
he does deliver a punch. I wish Duke Nukem got a better deal with Duke Nukem Forever. it was such a shame to see how that whole thing turned out.
Wasn't it the longest game in production history?
I mean, it was essentially vaporware for the longest time. Now we kind of have, a better like hindsight on how the game, got dropped and sort of picked up and just kind of hopped from spot to spot. But I mean, obviously, when the game came out, it was never going to be up to people's expectations. But I mean, from what I've seen, people do play it, to this day. They're okay with it. It's just, man, Duke Nukem was a staple back in the day, man. Like, especially in PC gaming, I loved the older games that were like platformers. They're still really fun to go back and play, and just that, definitely, we talked about it before, of a representation of like that 90s, attitude and being, being hardcore, and like the deep gritty voice and the one-off like movie puns when you go into areas, and that's great. Now, Brad, I have to ask, if it's Juice Nukem, what kind of juice we talking about here?
Oh man, think about nectarines, peaches, even almost kind of the sweetness of a bubble gum, and almost kind of a little bit of an herbal flair to it. It's just it's so smooth, it's hop forward, and that's the beauty of beer, right? Hops are kind of like almost like wine and vineyards with grapes, right? You have different ones that lend different flavor notes, right? And so you always want to blend together the right mixture. So this has Simcoe's, Citra, Columbus, Mosaic, and Amarillo, and that 5-hop blend really gives you that kind of palate journey of upfront like fruitiness and sweetness, but then finished with a little bit of bitterness from the hops that give you that clean finish that really makes it such a wonderful drink. And
there you go.
And shout out to Moonraker Brewing. They're in Auburn, California. They're the wonderful brewers of this beer, and it's a great. It's 8%, but it drinks like a single IPA, and that's what really makes it dangerous. Is you get a little bit more bang for your buck when it comes to the booze factor, the Brad's booze factor. Maybe that's something we can work on this.
Brad's booze factor.
This really delivers on that front, and this really comes in at that balance of flavor, intensity, and enjoyment, and that's what I remember about Duke Nukem. I mean, it was one of those that I just felt like you could get into that game and just wreak havoc, and it brought you that. There's few games that give you that freedom and that intensity and passion of like I'm going full bore, and I'm gonna let everyone have it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, even the like can art, right, for the for our listeners, the can art has a cartoon drawing of what would be Duke Nukem or Juice Nukem, and he's got hops grenades and what looks like a spatula with holes in it, which is very funny because that just brings back memories of childhood, like especially because we went to a very strict private school, and they told us that they had a paddle with holes in it and that they would beat us if
I've seen the paddle.
Did it really have holes in it?
I went to the principal's office once. Yeah, they showed me the paddle. It was like one of the original principals.
They threatened you like with like a gun. They were like, pulled up, you don't want none of this, and then
Okay, mister. No, it was. Yeah, I actually went to the principal's office once. There was one of the first principals we had. Like, he was old school.
Yeah.
And like, you didn't mess with this guy. I don't remember what happened that landed me in the principal's office, but he was like, "Yeah, you see that right over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." If you come in here again, you're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it.
You gonna get it. I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't go back in again."
And as an aside, just from my science background as an engineer, the reason why there's holes is it gives you a better ability to get a full swing because you reduce the drag. With a solid surface, you're going to fight the wind and you're not going to get as powerful of a swing. With some holes,
you want to really make it hurt.
Children,
yeah.
That's
and you want those welts
for when I'm looking for like weapons to beat children. I'm like, is this aerodynamic? Not only is it aerodynamic, sir, but it has a broad, flat surface to hit both cheeks of a small child.
It was a different era, thank God. But it's very cool, and awesome beer, Brad, as they say. As the Beastie Boys would put it, it's too sweet to be sour and too nice to be mean, right? It's Duke Nukem kind of contrasted with the sweet flavors of various juices. Very cool. And thanks so much for doing that. And yeah, make sure to check out Brad's article on quitthebuild.com/blog. He always really brings his A game with these things, his expertise, and collects these things and all sorts of other really cool. Colorblind, by the way, awesome name for a beer.
It really is.
I mean, that's a softball right there.
I mean, I'm not trying to blow the blog article too quick on the podcast here, but we had Ninja Curdles, we had Conky Dong. I mean, if you're any fan of any of the nostalgia games, I mean, there's a beer there for you. Please go take a look, take a read, and it's really. I'm loving that the fact that, at least for me, two of the areas that I'm super passionate about, beer and gaming, have found this amazing way to kind of celebrate one another, right? And that's really what it is, right? We're a community, right? We want to be here and celebrate each other, celebrate what we develop, celebrate what we can produce. And it's great that we can find a way, and they've found a way, brewers have found a way to recognize and take ode back to the games that I think really shaped, our generation and what we enjoy.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's very cool that, it's just great that we're kind of being catered to with these craft beers, that people know, like, that's something that's going to catch our eye and be like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to try that once. And that just like good box art back in the 80s and 90s, man. That having that cover art on the beer is kind of a throwback to those days when that's kind of what you had to go off of. You didn't have fancy reviews. You had to be that's like, true. Oh yeah, that guy looks like a winner with the spatula and and a ammo belt full of hop. Yeah.
Hey Nick, I'll save one of these, and maybe in 30 years we can sell it for $600K.
That's our ticket. That's the one. That's gonna be it.
You never know.
Here we go.
There won't be anything left in the can. It'll have all evaporated by then. It's just gonna be like, wait a minute, this was full when I got it. Now there's like, I don't know, a quarter of beer in here.
Yeah.
And it's all flat.
Oh my goodness.
It's got a date of when it was canned, so we have a proof of record.
Okay, we have proof. Yeah,
there we go.
Get that thing in an airtight container as soon as possible.
I'm just saying.
Oh man, well, yeah, Brad, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's always a treat to have you on, and it's like I said, it's a very cool part of the blog. Your previous video game beer blog was by far one of our most viewed on the website, so it's always cool to see that and to have you contribute in that way. So thanks so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you guys for having me again. It's great to be back, and be on the lookout. I've got some other new content coming out on the blog soon. So as much as I love to be beer focused, I'm also going to have some new things coming out. So for all you guys out there that love Quit the Build and love what we do, please check in and check out what I've got coming out soon. So
I'm still calling him the beer correspondent, Bruno. That's an amazing job title.
It is.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, I told you guys, if you guys want me to be live from somewhere drinking one of these at the brewery,
I want it.
I can make it happen.
Everybody wins.
Live.
Coming in live, I've got, I'm there.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, thank you guys again.
Goodness.
Love being on, much appreciated, and keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job. So
thanks so much, man. Well, and hey, speaking of which, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters like Nick and Epicapture Productions. And if you would like a shout out at the end of every episode, plus bonus content and even exclusive merch, you can support us today at patreon.com/quitthebuild. Thanks everybody so much for doing that. We're going to be putting out our new Nostalgia Vault episode on there with 90s board games was the topic that we landed on because our Patreon supporters actually got to decide on that topic. So we're very excited to dive into that. You'll see that on the Patreon site and so much more. Thanks so much to the people that are supporting us there. And don't forget, you can check out quitthebuild.com/community as well if you'd like to get any of our very cool merchandise options. All sorts of t-shirts like a Humphrey Springleaf t-shirt or even the classic QTB. In multiple different designs. They're very cool as well. So make sure to check those out. And what do you got for them, Bruno?
Well, I just got a word from our sponsor by Pierce Unlimited. For marketing media that works in bespoke design to power your business, visit pierceunlimited.com. And be sure to visit quitthebuild.com, where you can find all of our goodies from our blog to our community page. You can find us on socials there, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where we have sweet little clips. And now we're on Twitch too. Hey, how about that? You can see us live the night before these air. These always come out out every Wednesday and Saturday for our podcast listeners. So thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. We really love seeing the growth week after week, and we have some amazing things in store. Some crossover episodes coming up, and some just some goodies, some little secrets that we got going to be sprinkling in here. So it's going to be awesome. We can't wait to share it with you. But until next time, for Nick and Brad, I'm Bruno.
And for Bruno and Brad, I'm Nick.
Peace out. What it do?
Alrighty. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome.
I gotta, yep, see, hopefully it recorded. Oh, expert this bad boy.
Big money. Please record.
Please record, yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to gut the Twitch stream. You don't want that. That's a long night. Oh man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Big Bri. Good to see you. Good to see you. Josher. Jake the Senpai. Thanks for the follow. Geek Soapbox.
Yeah.
Jav. Jav is who's we're going to be collaborating with there on from Decent Takes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Should be fun. And I've already thrown the gauntlet down because I said, I saw one of their tweets. They're talking about how people who microwave their ramen are basically savages. I'm gonna be defending my position on microwave ramen because if you tune into that episode, I've got a stance.
Ooh, Nick, I feel like I can back you a bit. I feel like that's a time versus reward factor, right? And I want instant gratification. But the time it takes to put it in a pot and boil and cook it, if I can get something in 90 seconds and be satisfied.
That's what I'm saying.
So good luck, and just know that I've got your back when you go into that debate.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, we got the dad angle, right? Like, we don't need it to be good. We just need it to be quick.
Hey, when you got 90 seconds and that's all you got to work with what you have.
You gotta work with what you got.
The real thing is, have you ever eaten ramen without cooking it? Because there were kids when I was in high school that would just